design. Here is the ball, and whenever the ball gets strike to the target, it will bounce back and break the bricks above here. So this is the game we are going to design today. So here is a new project screen. Now we will design our game. Select our sprite first from this option. Click on this. And firstly we need to take a ball. Delete this sprite. Now go to costumes. To rechange this ball, its size or its dimensions, we will go to costume. So as we know, we don't want this much huge ball. We need to reduce this size. So select this ball. Reduce its size. Okay. Yes, this is the perfect size. Fine. So here is the final ball. Now we will design its code. So firstly, what you have to do, whenever the game will perfectly design, we need to click on this flag to run the project, to run the game. So what we need to do first, go on control, go on events, take this flag from events. When the flag will click, then what happened? Firstly, what we need to do, we need to point this ball at the center position. So we need to decide its direction and axis. So go to motion and go to X and Y position. So decide its X and Y axis. We need to put this ball at the center, so it must be 0, cross 0. Click on this. Yes, it is perfect. Now we need to decide its direction. So initially what we have to do, we need to decide its direction 0. So take point direction block from this side and put it here. So whenever the flag will click, the ball will direct in the 0 position and 0 direction. Next, what you need to do is, so basically next what we need to do is we need to show a score bar here. So let's go to variable, and here is a make a variable. We can design any variable from here. So you can design variable, and I'm going to name it score for all sprites. And yes, here we have the score, and whenever the ball will hit the bricks, the score will increase by some number. So next what we need to do, we just want, whenever the score will go to some extent, then the ball will at the edges will bounce back and move some steps. So for that what we need to do, go to control, take repeat until block. See, the significance of this block is we want to repeat any operation if the particular condition in this block, the particular condition we will place here, till that condition the algorithm will play and repeat that particular number of times. So basically that is why we have taken this repeat until block. Now next we will take operator, because we want to put some condition here. So put equals to block and put it here. Now what we want, until the score is equals to some number we can decide like 120, fine, and the score we can take score from here, drag and drop here. So until the score is equals to 120, till that time what the ball will do, the ball will, whenever it will be on edge, it will bounce back. If on edge, bounce and move 10 steps forward. So move 10 steps from motion category. We have taken this from motion to move the sprite in any direction. We have taken this block from motion block. So next what we need to do, here we have the ball is moving in this direction, right? So what we next step we are going to do is, whenever the ball will touch this axis, as we have in the another sprite we have the paddle here. So whenever we will slide the paddle from this direction to this direction, and whenever the ball skips the paddle and go to this direction, then the game will over. So the axis we have to define here, as it is y position is -188. So what we need to do, we need to put a condition here, go to control and take if block from here. So basically the significance of this block is, if some condition we will put here, if that condition will approve, then some operation will perform under this block. So in this condition we are going to put some condition here, whenever the ball will touch this axis, the game over screen will display us. So what we need to do, go to operators, take a less than operator, and whenever the y position is going to some extent, like here we have -188, y is -184 or -188. So we need to put here y axis or y position from motion. Take y position from here, and whenever this y position is less than minus, let's say 166, then what happened? The sound will create and the game over screen will broadcast. So to create the sound, we will go to sound option, select your sound. As I have already selected the sound here, like oops. Oops sound we have. And here we have the sound. Yes. So put this sound here. Go to sound category. Take start sound option and put it here. Next, whenever this ball will touch the axis, then it will bounce back and the game over screen will broadcast. So go to events. To broadcast any screen, we need to take a broadcast block and the message will broadcast as take a new message and name them. I'm naming it as game over. So this is the condition we have applied. We want to apply here, and the whole condition we were going to put in this repeat until block. So basically the repeat until block will work whenever the score is equals to 120. Then till then what will happen under this? The ball will move from 10 steps. If on edge it will bounce, and if the ball will at y position of less than minus 166, it will bounce back and start sound of oops and broadcast a message game over. Fine. So what we are going to do next, we need to create a sprite here, another sprite to design a palette. So choose a sprite from this option. So take a palette as okay, fine. Here we can take this, and so as you can see it is very huge, so we are going to redesign it, reduce its size, select this button or palette, you can see. Stop this. Fine. So select its position, redesign it. Fine. So our paddle is ready. Name it as paddle. Now we will code this and give it straight name as paddle. And also this is a ball. Okay, fine. Now we are going to design this paddle. Fine. So whenever the flag will click, what happened to this paddle? Take a forever loop. First we need to take a flag, and what happens? So what happens next? What we want, the paddle will move according to the mouse cursor, and we will move this paddle to be moved in only in x direction, from this axis to this axis, from this axis to this axis. So what we need for that, we need to design its axis as we have, it is a x direction, x axis. So we will take a control, and in that we will take forever loop, because whenever the mouse will go to the screen, we will slide this from this direction, this operation will perform always. So that is why we have taken forever loop. So in this loop, what we have to do? In this loop, we will design its axis and set its x-axis to some extent, and so go to motion, set x to. So set x to what? Set x to the position where the mouse, or we can say our mouse cursor, will go. Whenever the mouse cursor will here, the paddle will have to be here. Whenever the mouse cursor will here, the paddle will have to be here. So basically it will move correspondingly with the mouse cursor. So set x to, okay, fine. Whenever the mouse cursor will move, it will sense our cursor and will go in the direction towards the mouse. So it have to sense our mouse cursor. So for sensing we have a palette, sense palette, and in that we have mouse X. Put that mouse X and drag it here. Now Yeah, here we go. Whenever the cursor will move in the direction, and to the same direction the puddle will also move. So this is how it works. Now what we want to do next, whenever the ball will touch this pedal, it will bounce back and will create some sound. So next what we need to do is, whenever this ball will touch this pedal, it will bounce back and create a sound. So for that, take if block from control. As I have told you, in this if block we will put some condition here, and if that condition will true, then the operation will perform. Whatever be the blocks we will put here, that operation will perform accordingly whenever this condition will true, otherwise not. So next, what the condition we are going to put here is, whenever this ball will touch the ball, so it is sensing this pedal. So go to sense and take touch block and select, as we are designing the pedal. So whenever this pedal will touch ball, then what will happen? The message will broadcast of bounce, it will bounce back. So go to events and broadcast a message, take new message, bounce. Fine. And whenever it will bounce back, it will create a sound. So go to sound, and I have selected the sound here as suction cup. Here, so this is the sound we will take, and now I'm going to put this sound here. Select sound from sounds block, start sound, and put it here. Now this condition will only applicable whenever the pedal will sense mouse. So we need to put this condition in forever block. Fine. So okay, so it is not touching here. Okay, fine, we need to put some changes here. So what we need to do is, we need to set here little bit upside and set it as we need to select the y-axis again. So whenever this flag will touch, set its y-axis to, select y-axis to -98, let's say, and again see if no, it is not touching this, so we need to put some other operations here. Fine. So what we want, whenever this ball will touch, it will bounce back. So we need to changes in ball. So go to ball, and here we have this code. Now we will modify this code as, whenever this ball will receive message bounce, it will turn at some degree at any of the direction and move some steps forward or in backward direction. So whenever I receive bounce, so take event, and whenever I receive bounce, what happened then? Turn, whenever the ball will touch this pedal, it will bounce back, it will bounce back and turn at some direction. So go to turn block, and we need to decide some degrees here, but what we want to decide, it will bounce back at any random direction. with any random degrees. So go to operator. For that, pick random and select some value here as, let's say, 150 to, let's say, 210. Fine, and put this condition in this block. So fine, yeah, here we go. Fine. So whenever it will touch this pedal and it will go back, so next what it will go, where it will go, it will move 10 steps forward. As it is an optional block, you can take this or not. Fine. Fine. So now we have to design some bricks here. For that, we need to create another sprite. Go to, no, we will design a sprite here. Go to paint and design a brick. Let's say this is a brick. Resize it. Fine. But its color, let's say okay, fine. So now code this. So what we need to do is, first, whenever the flag will click, whenever this flag will click, this brick will create its clone at limited numbers. So for that, what will we do is, whenever the flag will click and for some time the bricks has to hide, but after few like 0 point something seconds it will visible. So recently, initially whenever the flag will click, it needs to hide for little bit second, and then it has to create its clone. So and up to how many number of time, like let's say I want to create 25 clones in this environment randomly. So go to control and take repeat block, because repeatedly I want to create its clone and in the random direction, and the clones I want to create is of 25, like 25 clones I want to create here. So this operation will run until it will create. Here in this control option we have create clone of myself. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Let's say it is high right now. Now we need to design some other operation here. Whenever I start as a clone, I need to show. We need to show this brick. Take show from looks. You can also rename this brick. Fine. So show and go to X and Y axis in any random direction. So, but what I want, this brick need to appear only in positive x-axis to negative x-axis, and only in positive y-axis directions. So this is the space we want to recover for the bricks, not this space. Right? So for that we will take go to X and Y, and we need to create the clone at any random direction. So pick random for x-axis and pick random for y-axis also. Okay. So let's say x-axis I want to be in 220 or 220. You can take your own values according to your requirement, as I'm taking minus 220 to 220. So, and for y direction, it only creates from 0 to 150, as the y-axis must be this half of the screen. So initially it is at 0 and will take any of the position from 0 to 150 in y direction. Okay, next. So what is the function of this brick? Whenever this ball will touch this brick will height and the score will increment by some value. So for that, what we need to do? Okay, fine. For that, we need to go control, take forever. Whenever the ball will touch brick, what happens? If the ball will touch this brick, or this brick will touch this ball, as we are designing the code for brick, so it must touch ball. Then what happened? We need to change score. Okay, select score by, let's say, 5. But initially the score must be 0. So for that, what we need to do? Go to this ball coach and set score to 0. Fine. Yeah, here we go. As fine. So whenever this ball will touch the brick, it needs to be height. The brick needs to be height, and we take height option from looks. And whenever this ball will touch the brick, it has to bounce back. Then broadcast the same message, bounce, and it needs to create a sound whenever it touches brick. So take sound, like I'm taking, I've decided the sound is whiz. Fine. So this is the sound I'm taking, and go to sound, start sound of whiz whenever the ball will touches the brick. Fine. So let's see. Fine. Here we go, it is going smoothly, and you can see the scores. Fine. Fine, it is going smoothly. Then, and whenever this ball will touch this whenever this ball will touch the screen, the excess hair, as whenever this ball will touch the underneath excess, it needs to create a screen of game over. So we need to take some another sprite for that. So take sprite as fine. Yeah, you need to write here game over, and increase its size. Fine. You can also refont its size as I'm taking pixel. Fine. It is good. Okay. So now we will design its code as it is game over. Game over. We will rename it, and also its costume is also to be game over. Rename its costume also. Game over. Fine. Whenever the ball will touch the screen, it needs to broadcast a message game over, and for that what we need to do, we need to broadcast a message here, game over. Fine, already we have done this. Fine. So whenever I receive a message, game over, what will happen? The screen must be visible, so must be show. Take show from looks and switch. We need to switch our costume to game over. But whenever the flag will click, as you can see, the game is already here, so we need to hide it whenever the game is going on. We need to hide this. Okay, fine. Whenever the flag will click, this sprite of game over will hide. Fine. Here. Here we have. So what happens? As we know, the game is over, and the game over sprite is also looking here. But the paddle, the ball, and the bricks also seen here. So what I need to do, whenever this ball will touch this paddle, we need to stop all the sprites. So for that, take stop all block from control option. Here we have this. Okay, now yes, fine. Okay. Also this paddle and ball is also looking here. For that, what we need to do, so for that we need to hide this paddle whenever the game is over, and for that you must go to events. Whenever I receive game over, and it must be hide. Similarly for this ball, also you can do one thing, you can drag and drop this code to ball. Okay, so here we have this. Fine. Here, yeah, so this is our final game. Okay. Okay, fine. We need to do one more thing. Whenever I receive this flag, we need to, when this ball and paddle must to show. Okay. Whenever this flag will click, they need to show, and paddle also need to show. Fine. Okay, so this is a game of break the brick game. So you can design your another games from this method also, and you can use Scratch online editor also. So today this is finished, and okay, for now, bye bye, and we will meet you in next tutorial of another game with Scratch. Till then, bye bye.